So here we are in Annapolis on a cloudy day. We're going to do another video of downtown historic looking Annapolis homes in the historic district, beginning with this colorful one which has been in several of our tapes. But today it's going to be the beginning of one. This tape may end because of rain. See the interesting six-pointed star in the fence? I've never seen that. So it's a bed and breakfast called the Academy Bed and Breakfast. Because it's beside the Naval Academy, which is what you see down at the end of the street. There's a very light rain, so my camera might actually get wet and take blurry pictures. Here's an interesting house. It's stucco. I would imagine that it might be kind of historical. Some of the bed and breakfast is here, and other houses, well, some of the bed and breakfasts date back to the 1890s. But actually, some of the buildings in town date back to more like the 1690s, before the United States existed. St. John's College, which is in one of our tapes, was built or founded as something else, King William College or something, in the 1690s or 1660s. Here's something fascinating. It's a house for sale. And I just have to look at the person's name, the realtor. It's called the Carey Mock Realty Group. I can't look at that without thinking it's a mock realty group, i.e. they're not actually, it's fake. They're not really selling you real estate. They're pretending. Anyway. Oh, these are all B&Bs. Huh, the Flag House B&B. So I guess basically I've now seen 4, and I haven't even walked 2 blocks. 4 B&Bs around the edge of the Naval Academy here. I guess that's where people stay when they visit their children who are at the Naval Academy. This looks like an entrance to the Naval Academy, but even though it looks like an entrance, and there are a lot of different entrances, as you can see what happens, they do have parking, is that you all have to go through a central entrance eventually and show your ID. I did it. And unless the guy has really great vision, I can't imagine that he read my ID or even checked to see that the picture looked like me. He kind of looked to see that I had handed him something that looked like an ID. I'm not sure he was military. I think he was some kind of policeman. He might have been a military policeman. Here's a real estate office. Let's see what they're offering. Clever flyers with no prices. You have to call them. They do seem to want to list things for almost half of the normal listing side of a commission. So the buildings that you see across the fence are the Naval Academy. I would think those are dormitories. I think we're going to walk up this street, although I hate to see people in my videos, especially if they're looking at the camera. I think a long time ago I knew a St. John's student who rented one of these. Here we have a watchful dog at a garage. This is a little side street called East Street. It came off Prince George's Street. Prince George's Street was the street that had so many B&Bs on it and immediately off of it. In the distance, almost invisible in the white, is the white dome of the state capitol. It's only 2 or 3 blocks away. I wonder if that means that Annapolis, the Maryland state capitol, is the state capitol closest to water. Probably isn't. It is only 2 or 3 blocks away. The dockland at Annapolis is off the Severn River. In some of my other tapes, I was calling it the Chesapeake Bay and Chesapeake River. It's not, it's the Severn. Here's a historical church. When you're in an area that's small enough that it has a lot of almost single-digit addresses, this church is 39 East Street. It always makes me think of the village where the prisoner was in the 60s BBC show, where everyone had a name. They were number 1 and number 6, and nobody. Makes me think, the addresses make me think of that kind of naming. Here we're back on Prince George's Street. Amazingly, this fairly historic looking church doesn't have a plaque outside. It's the one that was number 39 on the side street, East Street, but it's number 162 on Prince George's Street, which is what we're on now. It's kind of funny. I kind of want to say something crude, which is Annapolis apparently has a lot of what in D.C. are referred to by the people in D.C. as stinking shit bomb trees, namely ginkgos. And I think they must be flowering, but eventually they produce a fruit that is the size of a grapefruit. It's green, and it has a kind of corrugated exterior that makes it look like it's kind of pockmarked skin, but it's more a kind of nub. At any rate, they smell awful. I don't actually think they smell like, they don't smell cloacal or fecal. They smell like another human byproduct that you don't expect to smell outside and you don't expect to smell from a plant. But you know, apparently some proteins that are used in other things, some amino acids get used in the ginkgo tree's fruit. And this area has a slight smell of that right now. So it must be the ginkgo tree flowers before they become fruit. Prince George is, of course, also a county in Maryland. In fact, I think it touches Anne Arundel County, which is where Annapolis is. So, really hard to see the houses because everyone has a giant SUV or contractor truck. They're all parked right against the street in the way of the houses. So really the only place you can get a good view of anything is at an intersection where the parking is not legal and they're kind of driven away. Anyway, we just walked around a block. Here we are back at the colorful house, which is also a B&B. And we're back at the humorous Sugar Buns Kitchen, which is in one of our other tapes because it announced that they don't open until 8:30 in the morning, and they're not open on Tuesday, which is kind of amazing for a place that serves breakfast. Breakfast, but never on Tuesday and not before 8:30. However, they did come in and turn their lights on this morning, and they spend all their time putting Easter decorations in their windows. They just do it when nobody's around because they're never open. Kind of hilarious. And that's the end of this tape, which really didn't have a lot of purpose.